So now we're looking at example 1 of lesson 7, understanding proportional relationships. And this proportional relationships we're looking at rate and ratio, and a proportion being two equal ratios. And so we have an example of a proportional relationship in the graph below, and that is this example of Ryan running on a treadmill. And so we're looking at in relation to the example graph. So the x-axis, looking at your horizontal measure, the x-axis measures, and to find that we want to look down here on the x-axis. What does that measure? So you just look at the label, and that says it measures time in minutes. And so that's what we're going to fill in our blank there, time in minutes. And then our y-axis is our vertical axis. And what does the y-axis measure? The y-axis measures, looking at the label, distance in miles. So we'll fill that in. And we are going to follow the steps below to find Ryan's speed as a unit rate. Now, in regard to unit rate, before we follow those steps, I want you to think about what you just learned in the last video. So, thought bubble there, that unit rate is the same as two other things. Unit rate is the same as slope, and unit rate is the same as rate of change. So just kind of relating that to what we have already done on the front of this sheet. So we're going to find that slope, that unit rate, that rate of change, using two ordered pairs, which you already have experience doing, finding slope with those ordered pairs. Now, in order to do that, when we have a graph, it's good if we can use whole number values. So using whole number values, we want to try to find ordered pairs that cross right on an intersection point on the graph, so that they're not like halfway somewhere or a quarter of the way somewhere. We want some whole numbers. So we did provide you with two whole number ordered pairs examples this time. So let's mark those on our graph. We've got 10, 1. So looking at 10, 1, and that is right there. And then we are also looking at the point 20, 2. So 20 and 2. So we've got two nice whole number ordered pairs there that we are going to compare. And to do that, to find our slope, we're going to do what you've been doing to find slope, which is to find the change in y over the change in x. So we take our y value minus y value. And we're going to put that over x value minus our x value. And that is going to give us our slope. So we have 2 minus 1 for the change in y, which is 1. And then 20 minus 10 for the change in x, which gives us 10. So we get a 1/10 as the fraction. And then we're going to use the slope to write a unit rate. Right now, this is looking at our y values are on the top, so that's miles. And our x values on the bottom, and that's in minutes. So right now we have a rate of 1 mile in 10 minutes. And to make that a unit rate, we want to make the second value, so that second value for unit rate, we want that second value to be a 1. So we can look at that first of all in fraction form. So we've got 1 mile to 10 minutes. And because we want the bottom fraction, or the bottom number in the fraction, the denominator for a unit rate to be 1, we want to make this, turn this 10 minutes into 1 minute, but we want to keep the ratios equal. So you got to think about, okay, what can I do to 10 proportionally to change it into 1? Well, what you're doing there is you are dividing it by itself. So a number divided by itself gives you 1. So 10 divided by 10 is 1 minute. But that also means we want to divide the numerator by 10 because we want an equal fraction. And so then we have 1 mile divided by 10, and that gives us 0.1 miles. And so our solution turns out to be that Ryan's speed is that 0.1 miles per minute.